European Ombudsman, and in that role I take complaints from anybody who lives in the European Union and who has a complaint against an EU institution, such as, for example, the European Commission. At the moment there are lots of very interesting issues that we're working on in the office. Well, when I recently put a report to the European Parliament in relation to Frontex, which is the agency that coordinates the monitoring and the protection of the external borders of the European Union, a lot of interest was generated in my report and in my recommendation that there should be a complaints mechanism, a way of people making complaints to Frontex if they believe that their human rights have been violated. And there was a lot of interest generated because I sent in the report very shortly after the huge tragedy at Lampedusa, when so many people who were trying to seek asylum in Europe were very tragically drowned. There was a lot of interest, a lot of upset, a lot of concern within the European Union, within the institutions and the Commission and indeed the Parliament in relation to that, and I think that's why my report was particularly timely. Well, the European Ombudsman works as an independent institution, and it takes complaints from members of from people who live within the European Union, or sometimes people who live outside of the European Union but who have some interaction with the European institutions. We work in a very independent way. We're a free service. We're there instead of the courts. So sometimes people come to us instead of going to the courts in order to have their complaints resolved, and sometimes we can be very successful in that. People feel that they have been treated unfairly, perhaps not illegally, but unfairly by the European institution. They can come to us instead of going to the courts. We deal with all of the institutions of the European Union. Our biggest customer, if you like, is the Commission, because obviously it's almost like the government of the European Union. It has lots to do with all sorts of schemes in terms of proposing legislation and really administering the work of the European Union. We also deal with agencies such like the European Medicines Agency, the European Banking Authority, the European Central Bank, all of those agencies, dozens of European agencies that have a lot of interaction with members of the public, but also with NGOs and with businesses and so on. So all of the agencies and bodies of the European Union come under our remit. Well, when I became a European Ombudsman, a lot of people asked me if it was very different from being a National Ombudsman. Obviously it is in some ways, but at the same time I'm still dealing with citizens' complaints. I'm still dealing with people who have problems with institutions. And institutions in a way are the same the world over. They have different cultures and so on, but fundamentally it's people, they're trying to interact with them, they feel they've been treated unfairly. So whether it's a European institution, an Irish institution, a German institution, it doesn't matter, you're still dealing with the complaints. So in that sense it's sort of been a seamless transition. But also there's a great interaction between the Office of the European Ombudsman and the Member States, because the European Ombudsman coordinates a network of all the Member State Ombudsmen, and we get together on quite a regular basis to discuss issues of mutual concern. They send me cases sometimes that have a European dimension, and equally I send them cases that people have sent to me in relation to complaints that could more properly be dealt with by the National Ombudsman. It's a work of cooperation, and I think increasingly European citizens and the people who live in Europe are feeling the increasing power that a lot of European institutions have over us, perhaps diminishing power of the Member State governments, more power from the Commission, more power within the Parliament, and therefore I think it's very important that the European Ombudsman connects with all the Ombudsmen from the Member States so that we can share our experience and we can make sure that the people who come looking for our help get the best advice and the best help that we can give them. Well, I think it's very important that people see whether there is an institution such as an ombudsman or even a court or a consumer agency within their own country that can deal with them. Obviously, I am the ombudsman for the European institutions. I don't have a mandate over national member states. It's very important before coming to the European Ombudsman you see whether your problem can be solved there. But obviously there are lots of NGOs, lots of small businesses who are doing business on a daily basis with the institutions. And they have contracts, they're involved in programs and so on. And if they run into difficulties, they should know that the European Ombudsman is there as an independent, impartial office that can deal with their problems, that can lend its strength, its expertise to them for free and help to resolve their problems. And we've been very successful in doing that over the last almost 20 years now. Well, if I had €1 for every time I'm asked that question, I would be a very rich ombudsperson. The same question was asked of me when I became ombudsman in Ireland 10 years ago. And immediately I said, well, I don't mind, I can be ombudswoman. And then the Swedish people who invented that word got very cross and they wrote to the newspapers and they said, you do not understand the Swedish language. Ombudsman is gender neutral. So I decided I would stick with ombudsman. The same thing has happened here. To me, it doesn't matter to the Swedish people, it does matter. In English, I'm the ombudsman. In French, la mediatrice. Spanish, defensora del pueblo. I don't know what in Lithuanian, perhaps, but I think it's possibly still. I'm still ombudsman. I'll answer to anything.